John had a couple things he wants to talk about that I think we could really get this show back on the road.
You got a special day coming up. Are you feeling nostalgic?
10 years clean.
10 years clean.
When is your day?
6'9".
Mine's before
Right.
that.
Golden ratio.
526.
Oh, I thought that was like a Takashi reference.
No, it's 6'9", June 9th.
You got 10 years on
Magic.
6'9". I got
Magic
12
number.
years on 26th.
You don't have 20. Why are we letting him say this?
John knows I got 12 years.
And he's got 12 years.
How many years you got?
John's got like a million.
21.
John's not even
Clean and
John's
sober.
not an addict. He got clean when he was 14.
he was drinking cough
Right.
syrup.
He was like, Mom,
Still do.
I really like Tylenol PM. I think I got problems.
They sent him to Oregon Trail.
Yes, he took too much Tylenol PM. They
Oh,
really
my
sent him because his
goodness.
parents couldn't handle it.
So you turned 41.
I turned 41.
I got 10 years clean. And what's your thing, Justin? You're making?
526. I got 12 years clean.
Look at us doing stuff.
What do you think about your life at this point, where it stands? Do you have any, like,
It's a
overall?
disaster. Well, it's a disaster.
Don't say that. You're doing great. You're doing great, man.
Do you ever wish?
That I kept using drugs.
Yes. No. Do you ever look back at? Because I find myself doing this. It's an awful practice. But do you ever like wish that you did things sooner? I think you. I know you didn't coin the term, but you're famous for using the term treading water. And anytime I look at my accomplishments or anything like that, I'm immediately faced with the time I spent treading water, and it makes me think about what I could have accomplished or accomplished what I've accomplished sooner.
Yeah.
When
I think like that, I think Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon when he was 40.
Mm.
So, carpe diem.
Right.
the back nine is where it's going to be at for you.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
What about you?
He was later murdered.
No, I mean, he was. You're not gonna get murdered,
Come
Scott. I'm not gonna let you. Yeah, that's true. Maybe. I don't know about me. I don't think like that. I'm just like grateful as fuck. Cause where I was 12 years ago, dude, I was a fucking wreck. No, you were probably worse than me.
12 years ago.
12 minutes ago, I was a wreck.
12 years ago.
I will say this for you and your birthday. I was thinking about this the other day. Is that I remember like whenever Pat Thomas started tattooing.
Yeah.
I remember you being like, fuck, man, like this kid is living life. He's doing what he loves. And I'm just fucking sitting here wasting away fucking filing documents at Merrill Lynch.
Well, I had Pat. I had
Scott just started
Scott
Underground, right?
and Alan.
And I remember having this conversation with you and you were like down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
Because you were a secretary for years.
he was a fucking
Mail
glorified.
And he'd be like, I want to do something different.
He was a
Like, do it.
glorified copy paper boy.
But he did. I mean, look, you guys put it together. You had to, like, it took you a little while. But if you're asking me about, like, wasting time, I mean, I used to say this to myself in really dark situations just because you kind of have to believe that you're where you are. Where you are is where you're supposed to be, for better or for worse. So
I guess there is some truth to that. On the other side, it is a little bit of excuse making.
there is no other way.
It's reality.
It's just the way it
It's
is.
what reality is.
So you just try to like not make the same mistakes over and over again, and you know.
Constant growing.
Charlie texted me on my birthday, and I guess he's 11 years younger than we are.
Is he?
Yeah, he's only like 28 years old.
He's about to be
He looks
30.
he looks like he's 45 years old.
But he said he asked me. He said, if you could give one piece of advice to yourself 11 years ago, what would it be? And
Did
my
you answer?
Yeah, my response was, and that's what got me thinking. My response is that I would tell myself 11 years ago that you were going to miss out on a bunch of opportunities if you didn't get over the fear of being a beginner.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I think that response caused me to reflect on a lot of the things that I waited a long time, because I had that mindset that I didn't want to do it if I wasn't going to be good at it or successful at it immediately.
Well, because people are super afraid of failure. That was the thing about Underground when I talk about it. It's like me and Alan were just too naive to be afraid. For me, it was my uncle gave me the best advice. Was like, what's the worst that happens? You lose some money.
Yeah.
And like the worst that happens is you lose some money, but you're also a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
But like, think about how many people open a business and close a business.
Fail. Yeah.
That's like the word. And like, you don't like think. I wouldn't see some guy who like opened his own pizzeria and it didn't work out 5 years later and be like,
No, you're an embarrassment. Look at
loser.
right. No, like
You
give it
know,
a shot.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
You know,
And you learn when you're in it too, because I mean, 5 years ago, if I had witnessed you guys, you know, closing Robbinsville, I probably would have looked at that as like a failure. But
what it
I
is.
knew what was going on behind the scenes.
You have to be
So it
honest
wasn't.
with yourself. And I was saying it to somebody in Hazlitt. It's like you can have 1,000 bad business ideas. You just need one good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's maybe you lose some time and some money, but we can all go back to our day jobs. You know, I could easily go back to fucking GNC, be a store manager, or work manual labor.
Right.
I'll probably put a bullet in my head after a couple of years, but I could do it. You know.
Yeah.
I refuse to not spend my days with Justin after getting a taste of
I
that.
can't wait to see you guys for 2 years. Justin's gonna move, like, be Alan's neighbor.
We did a birthday workout the other day. Donnie like filmed it. We did it mic'd up,
Yeah, we did.
and we were told Donnie to make some content out of it, and it was literally just 45 minutes of Justin screaming at me, telling me how terrible it was, how disappointed in me he was, how he doesn't approve or like anything I do or how I do it.
That's not quite true, but
He ate my sour strips.
I did.
Why are you just walking around with sour strips? These are for like post-workout, aren't they? And insulin.
never
Are you
know.
using insulin?
Yes.
For your
You never know
diabetes?
when you're gonna have to carb up.
He's got to carb
Serious
up before
conversation or
big,
something.
big events. So
Well, I don't know. To answer your question about me giving myself advice, 11 years ago, 10 years ago,
10 years ago, what would you? I think that's an excellent piece of advice. What would you give yourself 10 years ago?
I would. Do you want to know the truth?
yeah, give
Yeah.
me the truth.
Raw. Give it to me. Get it
Leave.
vulnerable.
Leave the girls alone.
Okay.
Stop with the girls. That would be it. Women ain't shit. Oh, dude, this is what I would tell myself. I'd go back in time. I'd say, speak to God in Greek, speak violence to your enemies, and don't speak to women. And then I would just vanish. And that'd be 10 years ago. I'd just be like, what the fuck?
I hate him.
Should end the show that way.
Put that text on the screen. I want Justin's answer before we tap out of here and
Wha-
go find some air conditioning.
Seriously, I need a dip in the ocean. I'm sweating. Advice that I would give myself 12 years ago,
Or 10.
10
Whatever.
years ago. Fucking idea, dude. Don't be afraid, man. Like, I was terrified to do what we're doing right now. When we first were talking about it, dude, I was terrified.
Were you guys really?
I was.
Were you afraid of going into debt, or you?
Yeah,
afraid
that's what I was. Dude, everything is about, like,
Justin was walking away from a very lucrative.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a little different.
It wasn't, and it just proves that,
There was
money
nothing
doesn't buy
lucrative in my
happiness.
life at that point.
yeah, no, like, I left, like, a career that, like, it wasn't, like, anything big, but, like, I had it lined up, you know.
The only business that I knew was drug dealing. And in my mind, that's how I was like. I worked for GNC, and I was like, this is profit margin,
Yeah,
right? And I know the products. I know there's a demand for it because I work in a GNC that most people don't even want to be in.
yeah,
I see what type of numbers are doing. And I'm like, I had seen the success of places like JSS and some other stores, and I was like,
I can do this.
why can't I do this?
yeah.
I can sling supplements all day.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
that's
It's
it's
exactly
very
what I said
similar
to
to what we
him.
said
I
then.
said, why can't we do this?
Walk in the Iron Revolution, and John was like, "Yo, we could do something like this."
Yeah.
I was like, "You're right."
Yeah, and all it takes is like a little bit of like business savvy,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of
understanding,
money.
and
And a lot of money.
It took me a lot less
I
money.
said,
Yeah.
what do we need and what do we don't? What do we not have? And we just looked for number one answer on that list was money. So that was job number one.
Yeah,
And then you guys have personalities and charisma, and you guys have a certain aesthetic, and I think like because of our backgrounds and stuff, a lot of it bleeds over into the branding of our products and stuff, and I think people instinctively gravitate toward it or run away from it.
yeah.
And luckily, more people have gravitated than run away.
Thank God.
I feel like if we were to go directly into a creative outlet, we might have failed miserably. But if we, you think about people who try to make. I mean, how many people do you know that have a successful clothing line?
No,
No.
It's very hard.
no, it's tough.
But you need
because
like
it's
a foundation.
oversaturated.
Yeah,
You need a
but
foundation
having,
first.
you know,
That's the thing with Paramount is that you guys have a brand,
Mhm.
right? So like, no, I don't mean this to be disparaging because the same thing with Underground is like I could put just the word Underground on a T-shirt and I'll move them enough,
Yeah.
you know. But like if you put a little bit of pizzazz into it, a little bit of thought, a little bit of art,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a little bit of your personality, you're gonna do that much better with it. I think you like to wear the clothes you make. I like to wear the clothes I make,
Yeah.
and I think people appreciate that. And they're not all home runs for me, but a lot of them are.
No, yeah.
Still got some anime hoodies left if anybody wants to buy them.
Shout out anime.
Yeah,
hoodies.
shout out anime hoodies.
Is there a discount on that? 20% off, or are you doing like a BOGO?
We're gonna have a Memorial Day logo. But if I were to redo my answer to myself, it would just be to sort of in line with what you're saying. So just let the distractions go. Have some confidence. Nobody's going to give you your self worth. You have to determine what you're worth. And
Go for it.
yeah, seize carpe diem. Seize
Yeah.
the day.
Seize the day, bro.
The die is cast. That kind of stuff.
Amen to that.